They called his shooting position wrong before they ever asked why he used it. They said it broke doctrine and ignored training manuals. They laughed as he lowered himself to the ground in a way no one had seen before. What they did not know was that this position had already saved lives long before they judged it. It was built for men who could no longer stand. Asterisk, what city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe for more stories about extraordinary people. He was not the loud kind of soldier. He did not compete for attention or brag about scores. His name barely traveled beyond his platoon, and that was fine with him. He believed skill spoke best when it was quiet. On the training field, while others adjusted their stance to match diagrams on laminated cards, he did something different. He bent low, shifted his weight, and locked his body in a position that looked awkward to everyone watching. The instructors noticed immediately. One of them shook his head and said that was not how it was taught. Another told him to stand properly like the rest. The soldier did not argue. He simply listened, nodded, and returned to the standard position when ordered. But every time the drill reset, he drifted back into his own way when no one was looking. The whispers started soon after. Some said he was trying to be special. Others said he lacked discipline. A few joked that he must have learned to shoot from watching movies. He heard all of it and carried on. Inside, he carried something else as well, something heavier than their words. Years earlier, before uniforms and ranks, he had been a volunteer medic in a place where ambulances arrived too late. He learned to work under pressure, to adapt when bodies were broken and time was thin. He learned that wounded men did not fight standing tall. They fought from the ground, from corners, from whatever position pain allowed. He learned to pass tools and weapons to hands that trembled and legs that failed. That was where the position came from. It was not invented on a range. It was born beside injured fighters who refused to give up. He watched men try to shoot while half-conscious, propped against rubble or pinned by injuries. He saw which angles worked and which failed. He memorized what allowed control when strength was gone. When he joined the unit, no one asked about that pass. They saw only another recruit expected to fit the mold. So he kept his reasons private. He trained. He passed tests. He stayed average on paper, careful not to draw attention. The conflict came during a joint exercise meant to simulate chaos. The scenario pushed the unit beyond comfort. Timelines collapsed. Orders changed mid-movement. Somewhere in the confusion, a simulated blast knocked several soldiers down. They were not injured for real, but the rules of the exercise treated them as wounded. One of the instructors shouted for the wounded to engage targets from where they lay. What followed was hesitation. Rifles slipped. Angles were wrong. Shots missed. Frustration spread fast. The same instructors who preached adaptability now watched it fail. Then the quiet soldier moved. He dropped into his strange position without being told. His body settled naturally, steady despite the uneven ground. He adjusted his breathing, not out of habit, but out of necessity, the way someone does when pain is expected. He fired. The target fell. He fired again. Another fell. From the ground, from a position no manual described, he delivered clean, controlled shots. The range went silent, not from shock, but from attention. Every eye fixed on him. An instructor demanded to know what he thought he was doing. The soldier looked up, calm and direct. He said he was shooting the way wounded men can shoot. He said this position was not for comfort or style. It was for survival. He explained without emotion. Standing positions assume working legs. Kneeling assumes balance. Prone assumes space and time. But injured fighters have none of those guarantees. They need a way to fight when the body refuses to cooperate. He said he learned this watching men bleed and still protect each other. No one laughed this time. The instructors exchanged looks. One asked him to demonstrate again, slower. He did. Another asked him to teach it to the group. He hesitated for a moment, then agreed. As the exercise continued, something changed. Soldiers who struggled moments before began to adapt. They learned how to stabilize themselves when movement was limited. They learned how to control fear when the ground became their only option. The strange position stopped being strange. It became useful. After the exercise, the criticism stopped. Not because everyone suddenly liked him, but because results demand respect. Word traveled beyond the range. Not as gossip this time, but as a lesson. Later, one of the instructors pulled him aside. He said training often prepares soldiers for ideal conditions, but war never offers those. He said the soldier had reminded them of something important. Innovation often comes from pain, not theory. The soldier did not smile. He simply nodded. He was not there for praise. He was there so someone else might survive a moment they never expected. In time, his position found its way into discussions and adaptations. It was not named after him. It did not need to be. What mattered was that when someone fell and could not stand, they remembered there was still a way to fight. The moral of his story was simple and heavy. Do not judge what you do not understand. What looks wrong in comfort may be right in crisis. The people who break from the script are often the ones writing it for those who come after. What did this story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.